Somewhere in the far reaches of outer space, on this dark, uncharted planet, a meeting is taking place. Present are the most treacherous and evil enemies of the galaxy.
Changing my whole lifestyle just like that.
Well, because in Colorado, there's not really any. You're in the middle of the state, right?
Yeah, dude. I mean, there's like we have like reservoirs and shit, and some lakes, but like, dude, we're landlocked. We're in the fucking mountains. You know?
Exactly.
So now, just even the temperature, man, because like. It wasn't even a month ago in like October. My son was up there building the fucking snowman, and I'm down here. It's like 85. I'm sweating my ass off.
Damn.
Yeah, man, it's a huge change of pace. So.
Hey, that's what my girlfriend's sister lives in Texas.
Oh yeah.
So she's about to have a baby, and that option is always there to like go visit Texas.
Yeah.
But I like being on the coast because that's where I was born. I was born in California.
Yeah.
I've been to Nevada and Seattle, Washington, and Oregon, but I've never been far east. Only Nevada is the furthest I've ever been.
Dude, this is the furthest I've been, man. Well, I've been to Florida when I was a teenager, but that shit don't count. But now it's like actually out here on the Gulf of the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh, nice.
The beaches are like 3 miles from here, but even more importantly, like the weather's like this all through the winter, so I'm gonna be doing roofing like all the way through.
Damn, that's cha-ching.
Yeah. Whereas normally I'm in Denver, it's all snowing and cold, and we can't do roofs. Like now, all of a sudden, I have the capability of doing what I do like year round.
Yeah.
Which I'm not necessarily gonna be down here that long, because eventually I have to get back to Denver and my son.
Yeah.
But no, dude, it's just crazy, just how. I kind of like vaguely asked the universe for a change, and
Yep.
And I didn't know what it was, man. I just kind of knew, like, hey, man, I visualized a truck. I finally want to get my badass Toyota Tundra. Kind of started setting my goals, and then fucking the random thought popped up, like, fuck, man, I do roofing. There's a hurricane. Started researching it. Came up with a game plan one night. And
wow.
Just did it. Yeah, man. The same as I had the idea to do the podcast and hit you up and shit, man. It's like. It's those little moments of, you can look at it however you want, but, like, that's how I, like, learned to see, like, divine intervention or like, those little tiny pulls, if there's something up there that can be instilled in us, those little ideas, but I had to put myself in the right mindset, put out the right frequencies to absorb those, and lo and behold, man, it's, like, the most life-changing, miraculous shit.
Yes.
So,
hey, I want to say thanks for all the love and support you've showed not only me but my cousin and my other friend that's on the podcast as well. And I last night I was telling them about you and how we're gonna do this today. And then my cousin, he was fucking surprised and he's like, "Holy shit, what are you doing?" I was like, "I don't know. I'm not thinking about it. I'm just letting it happen."
Yeah. You guys, you're like, "We got one, we got one."
We got one, boys. No, not at all. Not at all. That's not how I look at it. I just go, hey, as long as we can help each other out, like you and me, as long as we're on that wavelength together, sharing ideas, expanding our consciousness.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, man, because, it's kind of weird. Oh, shit.
Snot rocket.
I got, like, the most wicked fucking cold, dude.
Oh, fuck.
I've had a cold, like, a year and a half, man, so it lets me know, like, I've been lagging on keeping my immune system up and shit.
Yeah.
But no, it's just, like, that's just, for me, is just knowing, like, of course I knew, motherfuckers like you were out there.
Yeah.
That are on, not only that, trying to make that change, and that are stuck, and that's why it was so cool, listening to you guys, you're talking about real shit, like, even one video that I listened to where you're talking about, like, the realization of, like, we gotta pay taxes, like, there's just shit that we cannot get around, and, of course, like, most people that have already made it, like, it's so obvious, but we're talking, like, low middle class, coming from, like, the bottom, really trying to understand these realizations for ourselves.
Yes.
And then not only that, but to make it a habit, and to, like, actually pick those changes and to utilize those different habits and make it a lifestyle and make it a change.
Yep.
Because I've been independent for years now, dude, doing this shit, and, like, that's gonna be a big thing for me, is really just catching up on the taxes game and really becoming an entity of the system, which sucks. But like we were talking, talking about, you can't fight that.
As much as you try to fight it, your Uncle Sam or whoever, they're gonna be knocking at your fucking door, and you're gonna be like Wesley Snipes, and you're gonna be in prison for
It's straight up
tax evasion.
But I listened to a Joe Rogan podcast recently when he's talking about that. And,
Yeah.
He's like, man, like it sucks, but they can literally fucking throw you in a box for not playing according to their rules.
Wow, it's shiesty, man. It's so fucking shiesty. But it's like you'll see a paycheck, and off top they'll take $200, and
Yeah, your buddy was talking about he made $3,000 and he only saw like 1,600 or something.
yeah, that's my friend. His name is Art. He plays bass, so he's a hard worker, and for him to get taxed that much, I don't know if at the end of the year when you file the taxes, if you get everything back or not. But still.
Yeah, it all depends, but it's just fucking crazy, dude. Like we got to play their game, dude.
Yep, Monopoly.
And it's a means of like submission, but then again, like look at the outcome. We have the ability to actually change our fucking lives and
Yes.
do what we want in that sense of freedom. So, that's where I'm kind of stuck too, where it is a weird paradox in regards to like, of course they're going to be at the very fucking top because they own the whole system.
Yes, sir.
Whether it is they earn that right or not, who is to say?
Oh, they earn their right.
Yeah.
They're there. They're like, there's no avoiding us, you fucks.
Yeah.
We are their assets. We work for a company, and then they take their chunk of the change and say, this is the law. You must pay us first. And that's why Apple, they keep their money like $200 billion or some shit overseas in Ireland, I think. So they don't have to pay the taxes. And then Jim Rohn, who's a really, really smart guy, he's passed away. He said, you can't, there's things in this universe, in this world that you cannot get away from. You can't get away from death. You can't get away from taxes. It's just like, would you want your son riding on a dirt road or on a cement road? And it's like, if you want your son or your child to be on cement, just pay your taxes then.
Yeah.
It might go to that. We don't know where the fuck our tax money goes.
Well, I mean, we know for a fact, like, the roads are getting built. You know what I mean? By, like, coming down here, seeing, like, this place was thrashed when I first got here, man. It was probably, like, a month after the hurricane. But there's a couple cities north, because I'm in Corpus Christi.
Yeah.
Which I never even knew this place existed, not until a couple months ago. But there's a couple cities just maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes north of here called Rockport. And they got hit hard, man.
Fuck.
Like I'm standing in people's living rooms, and I'm looking up at the sky kind of shit. So there's big giant piles of just like, I'm talking like 20, 30 feet tall, a half mile long of just debris. Trees, houses, mattresses, like people's shit.
Yeah.
So it was a big giant, I mean, it must have cost millions and millions of dollars for that cleanup. So there are big tractors, there's big dump trucks. So of course I know like taxes in that sense, they are getting used. The roads are getting built, potholes are getting filled, bridges are getting built. Back in Denver, they built a whole light rail system. So I know, like, of course we know that it's going there.
Nice.
It's just the bullshit of, like, what we need to do is at least start implementing a system where we hold them accountable for where the real taxes are going, because that is still, like, a tiny portion when we're talking to, like, when I'm talking to sheep about it, they're like, oh, man, roads are getting built, but I'm like, motherfucker, like, do you realize how small of a portion that really is?
Yes.
Considering how much it costs to run like the NSA or the CIA or all the black budget shit that we don't even know about.
Yep.
It's like, how about the war on terror? Do we even know how much that shit's costing?
That's probably billions upon trillions. Probably trillions, yeah.
And when we really realize like the how much is coming out, there's 300 million Americans, so let's say, 250 of them are tax paying. How much we each pay a year. 250 million times what? $20,000 each.
Oh my God.
A lot of fucking money.
Trillions.
So, yeah, dude, it's a matter of just like, okay, when do we finally sit back and be like, okay, we realize that we're willing to pay taxes. Nobody's saying that, but it's the same reason why motherfuckers left England off the bat or the Revolutionary War is because taxation without representation. And it just kind of sucks seeing how this all played out 300 years ago.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers are like, we died for this.
And now it's happening again.
Yes. And now, but that's before, like, there was the mind control that they had.
Yeah.
But poisoning of our food and, like, actually able to make us, like, submissive. Because that was back when people would, like, oh, man, we know they're fucking us over. What are we going to do about it? And they actually got together, banded together, and then, like, we're willing to die for it.
Yeah.
Nowadays, that's my biggest fear, and that's the reason why they make us submissive little monkeys like we are.
Yep.
Because now we're like, now we know what they're doing. What are we going to do? And we're just like, fucking, let's watch YouTube or something. Let's all get drunk and just say, fuck it, So,
yeah. No, it's a very touchy, very, very touchy subject, taxes and money. But like we said yesterday, money is merely energy. And like I said in the other podcast, I asked my cousin, I said, how do you make money? And then he stopped and I was like, energy. You have to use your energy. If you're working a 9-to-5 job, you must go to that job. That takes energy to get there. So you're just a fucking cell going through the fucking universe. You get to your job and then you're using all your fucking energy and you're not getting paid that day necessarily if it's like at a UPS job or something like that.
Yeah.
So you have to wait 2 weeks or once a week. So I don't know. That's one of the things that is crazy right there. Just like thinking about stuff like that. That's why I want to avoid that 9-to-5 rat race shit. I've been doing that for 10 plus years.
I've done UPS, bro. I did the overnights at UPS, man. That shit sucks.
It sucks, huh?
Like fucking, I've done that too, man. I've done the 14-hour grind with landscaping.
Yeah.
I've done the manual labor shit, from Uncle Terry. And, I know, that's how I know. Like, you were talking, I heard you talking about, like, we know we can grind. We know we can work. Like, we're totally capable of doing that. You know what I mean? Working 11, 12-hour days, like.
Easily.
Yeah. Like, we can grind. We're fucking workers, man. And it's just a matter of, like, why we know that. We know we can do that. So why the fuck would we not just, like, push ourselves?
Yeah.
And learn how to do that for ourselves. And, like, and really start investing that time, man. So that's why I know it's huge. That's why I told you, man, like, I'm fucking, I'm proud of you for taking those steps and actually, like, utilizing your time.
Thank you.
Where you realize, like, the 24 hours in your day, for the first time, it's what I realized out here is, like, man, like, I became that busy out here, which is a good problem to have, but I've never had that shit before.
Yeah.
And actually, like, trying to figure out, fuck, it just bashed the shit out of my leg.
Shit.
And actually, like, really trying to figure out, like, okay, well, how can I utilize my time best? So, I need my sleep, but I got to cut my sleep down to, like, 4 or 5 hours.
Yes,
like,
yes.
And it was so cool seeing it. It's stressful as fuck, but it's so cool being able to see, like, now I got control of my time. I'm not just, like, having to clock in on somebody else's time, making their dream through, actually doing it, man. So for me to see you do that, that's how I knew, like, nobody else is really doing that around me, man. So
thank you.
Not only for the sake of myself, but for the sake of you, let you know, man, and for us to connect at least on that level, because it's weird that it's taboo. It's weird that this is, like, not a common habit to have, which I understand why, and it makes sense because we got to feed our families. We got to do what we got to do.
Very true.
But at the same time, we're starving, man. We're gonna wake up when we're 65, 70 years old, and look back and be like, where the fuck did my life go?
Exactly. There's Jeff Bezos, Amazon founder. He said there was an interview in 1999, and the guy was asking him, saying, like, why did you leave Wall Street making good money to start this Amazon book selling online? He's like, well, I really thought about it, and he calls it regret minimization framework. And then the guy was like, what do you mean by that? And then he's like, I flash forward to where I'm 80 years old, if I make it to 80, and I want to think back and be like, did I regret not starting Amazon? Or did I regret not going after music or whatever? So he's like, and then he starts laughing, Jeff Bezos, fucking funny laugh. And then he's like, it's a cheesy thing to say, it's hella nerdy, but he's like, that's really basically how he started Amazon, was that he flashed forward till he was 80 and was like, all right, I know I could fall back on Wall Street, but I'm not. I want to do this computer thing because I know it's gonna blow up. And now he's right behind Bill Gates, one of the richest men in the world.
Yeah, and not only that, the influence that he's had, and how many lives he's affected, man.
That's more important to him, he said. He had a chair, a door with some hinges on the bottom, and it was a table. And the interviewer was like, come on, Jeff Bezos, you can afford a better table. And he's like, but I don't want to. It's a symbol for money doesn't need to be spent on me. It needs to be spent towards the customers, making their lives easier. And driving around a 96 Honda Accord.
Yeah.
Or 95 Honda Accord. And then everyone's like, what the fuck? He was worth $1 billion in 99. And he still was driving a Honda Accord, stuff like that. So I look up to that as well. And yeah, man, that's just very inspiring.
And now it's just like evidence, like, man, like people from like the very bottom, they made it.
Yes.
They made it in this society. They made it in this economy. They made it past the, like, whatever fucking excuses that I've kind of like put in my head.
Yeah.
As to what would be holding me back, man, and like how the kind of person, like, and that's another fear. Like I've kind of like had to. I'm learning so much every single day, man. It's just crazy. But just like even the little fears that I can overcome as well. One of which is like the one I used to have, like, oh, the person I'm going to be when I make money, and like, is it going to change me?
That's
and now, man, and now I'm just like so confident in myself. That was just an old fear of just like, it's not even an issue anymore, man. Like, because I know me to the extent now that I've quit drinking, now that I've just kind of put away all the bullshit, all the old habits, and the old me, like straight up, like the old me dead and gone away, straight TI shit.
Yeah, baby.
And having that confidence in myself, and to really know that, like, this is who the fuck I am. These are the principles that I really do stand by, and this is never going to go away. This can't be changed. This can't be manipulated. Like, I know what I will die for, and of course, I'm always going to grow and learn more along the way. But my core and my foundation of who I am as a person, I'm always going to be a philanthropist. I'm always going to be the guy that's going to stop and help somebody when their tire's flat on the side of the road.
Yes.
I'm always going to stop and help people. I'm never going to get to the top by stepping on throats. So instead of me just sitting there focusing on, like, well, what if I do? What if I do? Like, fuck it. Like, it's a matter of having that sort of faith and that sort of confidence in myself.
Nice.
I know I'm going to be that. I know I'm always. This is me, man. And knowing that within myself is the biggest. Like, I'm not even going to waste time trying to talk people into who I am.
Yeah.
Because I'm so confident in that it's just all about actions and moving forward, and just like when I do get that money, because I know I'm going to get that fucking money.
Yep.
It's just a matter of just keeping that and remembering where the fuck I came from, and that humility is always going to be a part of me. I'm never going to be able to forget where I came from, and the times where I was straight up like eating sriracha off, crackers and shit.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Like,
we all have our food combinations bad. Like for me, it was top ramen and cream of wheat. Those are that's what I was raised on. But I wanted to get into like your story growing up, some of the things that have molded you into the man you are, and some of the fears that you've really had to overcome, some of the trials and tribulations of life and stuff.
Yeah.
So like maybe starting off with, if you won't mind, like your parents, how they influenced you and stuff.
Yeah, I'm really glad you're asking, man. And like, nobody ever really has. Nobody's man, that's big. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you.
So the city I'm from is from Aurora, Colorado. That I was born and raised.
Oh, okay.
It's where that shooting happened.
Oh shit.
That theater shooting, the James Holmes and shit like that.
The Batman one?
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, that's Century 16. I mean, that's the one that's like, I still have an apartment back there right now, because I couldn't break my lease and shit.
Oh wow.
That's only like a half mile away from that theater. So, that's my home, and that's where I was born and raised. And my family too. So my grandfather, my dad's father.
Yeah.
He was an Aurora policeman. In my family, man, it's been rough, like, for our family. So back like 25, 30 years ago, before I was born, probably 30 plus years ago, my grandfather, being that he's an Aurora policeman, was going through a divorce trial with my, with my dad, on my dad's side, my dad's mom.
Yeah.
And in open court, he pulled out his gun and shot my grandma's lawyer 5 times.
Oh shit.
Like real shit. So that's the reason why courtrooms now all over the nation, like why it's hardcore metal detectors and shit. You know, it never used to be that way. But that's the reason why. So my family kind of got rocked with that off the bat. And here, excuse me 1 second.
Okay.
Oh, God, this cold is fucking nasty. I gotta burn this shit out of my body.
Yep.
But no, so I mean, I was, you know, as soon as I was a kid, some of my first memories was like, you know, going to visit my grandfather in prison.
Oh,
and
that sucks.
Yeah, and not really understanding it, you know, and just kind of like, okay, well, you know, this is what we're doing because you're a kid, you know, you can't really psychoanalyze that. You know, and then he blamed it on my father and you know, that was my grandfather's only son was my father, and I'm my father's only son. So it's just a matter of like having, now that I'm an adult, kind of, you know, understanding like this rage, like this involuntary rage that, you know, that took my grandfather to the point of snapping and you know, unloading on this lady.
Yeah.
That my father involuntarily had taken out on me, and everything that goes, you know, psychologically along with that is just the levels of personality and emotion for us to just, for my dad to, you know, just snap on me and just start beating the hell out of me and that kind of shit.
Oh wow.
And then noticing, you know, going throughout a teenager, you know, my mom doing meth. When I was a teenager, and kind of fucking a lot of shit up there too, man. Social services came into the picture. I got taken away from my mom when I was, you know, when I was like 12, maybe 13, and having to go through that whole ordeal with the state, all the while with my dad being all fucked up, you know, recovering alcoholic, and all the while having those weird anger issues and shit like that.
Yeah.
So it wasn't necessarily like, you know, I don't look back and, you know, think off the bat like, man, it was like, oh, I had the worst childhood. Well, my sister kind of did, my older sister, and you know, she intentionally kind of plays the victim.
Yes.
But then, you know, where she's at in life, man, she's going nowhere fast. She's always depressed and shit. You know, doesn't take any accountability for her own life. But when it comes to me, man, you know, that's why the reason why I do think that I have the ability or the how do you say it?
Maybe the heart.
Yeah, just like having the heart and having the ability and the foresight and the sense to be able to, like, you know, is because I have been through some shit. You know what I mean? I've been through situations where, you know, I was kind of forced to grow up real quick and seen a lot of shit that a lot of kids didn't have to see. And this is reality because, you know, in Aurora, Colorado, it's not bad. You know, it's a nice little suburb of Denver. But all the kids in high school, you know, kind of looking at me and seeing what I was going through with social services and my sisters, like, damn, like, the youth testers are going through some shit.
Yeah.
And like they don't have to see that kind of shit. And of course, it could be way worse. You know, I know like kids really do get, you know, dealt a way shittier hand. But it's just a matter of like all I do is kind of like look back upon my past and where I came from, and really, you know, when I do reflect on it, and that's what I've just done recently is being able to like look at myself finally objectively and be, man, good job, Nick. Like, you really did go through some shit. You know, actually talk to myself and be honest with myself and truly objective and understand it from that perspective. Because I can't rely on other people to be like, man, you know, good job, Nick. You know, you did it. You know, and feel bad for me and pity me. I don't want that shit. And,
that's good. That takes you're very brave, strong-willed, intelligent, and empathetic. I think empathy is one of the most important things to have, to be able to argue someone's side better than they can, and be like, you know, you're the victim, maybe to your sister or somebody else. Just, you know, be like, this is why you're the victim. I can help you get out of that if you would let me, and I'll show you what you're doing wrong.
Exactly.
And it helped me out too. Just tell me what I'm doing wrong. You have to be self-aware. You have to be just look at everything from the big picture rather than from just your small little paradigm. It's tough. I used to be pulling the victim card when I was like 17, 18, 19.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all did. It's just it's an involuntary reaction that's just natural. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, we're all victims of this shit. We all want to blame somebody. Not only is it the easiest way, but that's what we're conditioned to do. You know?
Yes.
Like, as hard as life is, we're all, in comparison to like other parts of the world where kids are literally fighting for food a day. You know what I mean? Like, kids are starving to death. Kids have guns and they're killing each other, man. Like, life ain't all that fucking bad.
Yep.
And to really, you know, step back and realize that. And not only that, you know, be able to be honest with yourself. And it's just kind of the moment where, like you said too, it's a deep level of empathy to where, it's not just empathy on the sense like, man, I feel you, bro. I can really put myself in your situation. It's kind of like at the deepest level of empathy, we can really break it apart and break yourself apart and really realize like, who you are from the standpoint of, not only how you see yourself and how you treat yourself and the actions and the decisions that you make inside your head and how they're affecting you, but as well as others. And it wasn't until the point where, just recently where I kind of had to like, it was honestly when I stopped drinking, man. For some reason, dude, like that was just an absolute poison in regards to like a tactic that the Illuminati uses or whatever, to hinder our minds and hinder everybody in that aspect. It wasn't until I actually committed to quit drinking that, I kind of had this awareness, like the cloud that was over my mind and my personality and my emotions just went away. To where I can just consistently every day, I don't have to wake up hungover anymore, like trying to fight back and remember who I am. Like I'm always there, and I can always just continually keep thinking about this, dude. So that was just the biggest decision that I've ever made was to quit drinking because of everything that naturally came along with that. And one of the biggest ones was not only my confidence but my self-awareness. To be able to like really understand, like, okay, man, like, what have I been doing wrong? And like, it was the shame that I felt when I finally realized, like, I have been doing like literally the exact same fucking thing since I was. I mean, and I've been aware of this, I kind of like had my awakening or whatever you want to call it,
epiphany or whatever. Yeah,
that we all had. That the universe, however the fuck it happened, the miracle. But I was like 19 or 20, and I'm like 27 now.
Yeah.
So I've been doing the same fucking thing since I was like 19 or 20.
What was it? What were you doing? Just getting smashed all the time?
Yeah, dude. Just going out with my friends, going to the bar. So I turned 21. I'd get fucking drunk and then fucking be a little bit too drunk to drive and be like, fuck, let's go out and get some blow. And like, and just the same shit, dude. So, and all the while, like, when I would do blow, and that's why I love it. That's why I like me and blow. If I can speak openly, we have a love-hate relationship because it does get me to the elevated thinking level. It does get me to a higher frequency, and a lot of the ideas that I came up with have been what I fucking yacked out. But it's just a matter of actually doing what I say I'm gonna. The ideas that I have, like contacting you. And
very important. That is the one thing. I got notebooks all day.
Yep.
I don't wanna talk as much as I want to show. And I told my girlfriend a few things that I wanted to do, but when I don't fulfill what I say I'm gonna do, I feel like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm losing myself. So instead of talking about the ideas, I just do them as fast as possible to the best of my capabilities and say, hey, like the videos and the podcasts, I didn't sit up one day and go, I'm gonna start podcasting. I was just like, fuck it, let's record, and I'd change it after. I just put like life, reality, money, and then after that, then I'd put podcast number 6.
Yeah, and that's why I can tell. I can tell that specifically, and that's why I hit you up, man, because I can tell that was the same situation, man. Like I can literally see that is what happened.
The growth, it grew.
As fresh as it was, is that you just had that idea, and you're just like, fuck it. We're doing it. And you don't know why, or you don't know what it's going to do, but you just had that idea, and you're not going to live in the past anymore of saying,
no.
Well, I had this idea, and I could have been, like, you're just like, fuck it, we're doing this shit.
We're doing it live.
Yeah, man.
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
And look at, now I got a new fucking buddy out of it, man. Like, goddamn.
Yes.
That makes me so fucking happy to know, man. And, like, and even to be able to share my story, looking at myself objectively, like, listening to myself tell my story is refreshing. To be able to get this shit out. Not having to go to a fucking therapist, not having to and really being able to just tell it and help me understand myself. And
what's cool is we're basically the same age. The one thing that I'm trying to figure out though is, do everyone around this age have that awakening? And if they do, because there's the 1%ers and there's the 99%. So maybe. I was just thinking about this, like, right now as we're talking, like, maybe me and you have this epiphany and these moments of going after what we really want to do. But, I don't know. We can't see the future, so we don't know for sure if we're really gonna get up to that level where we want to be, or if we just keep going for it, then it will happen. That's kind of confusing in a way.
Well, I mean, here's kind of the way that I looked at it too. And like, one thing I love about this day and age, look at this badass tree. I gotta climb that thing, dude. Like,
Oh damn!
that is like it's like the most perfect climbing tree, dude. It's just those little decisions where it's like, not even in regards to the big things.
Yeah.
But I'm noticing nowadays, I have the ability now where it's like, oh shit, well, like backflipping. I've always wanted to learn how to backflip. I want to be like, not necessarily like a hardcore parkour kind of dude.
Yeah.
But like, I want to be physically fit enough to where I could like literally just run and just flip off shit. I think that'd be so fucking cool.
Yep.
And instead of like just having that idea just be an idea, maybe I can start taking the steps to be like, okay, well, maybe I can go on a trampoline and learn how to backflip there. And then be brave enough to start like just even that. Because within a week I know I can just train myself to be able to backflip off shit.
It's one more thing you could just check off.
Yeah. And like those little tiny things exist like on so many levels all throughout. You know what I mean? Just I can train myself, that kind of shit. I can educate myself, I can read a book, I can whatever the fuck.
Yes.
And like, that's when I really step back and realize like, man, like those possibilities exist on so many different things. I can literally change the course of my life.
Yep.
Within a fucking second on so many different avenues, man. So now that I can really see myself objectively, put myself in a situation to where like every single day is unwritten for me.
Yes.
And it's fucking amazing because like as unfortunate as that I'm away from my son, I do have the ability right now to like send money back to Denver and I have that structure, so I'm very fucking blessed.
Yes.
I'm extremely fucking fortunate. But then again, that system was only set up because I allowed all the little pieces to fall in place.
Yes.
And by making those little tiny decisions. So now I'm in just this position of just absolute fucking power for the first time in my life to where at any given time I can go back to fucking drinking and I can just, fuck it all up.
Fuck it all. Yep. I feel that. I definitely feel that,
You know what I mean?
It's easy. That'll be throwing in the towel,
Yeah.
giving up. You're working so hard, becoming an enlightened person,
Yeah.
and then to throw it all away, that would suck. That'd be
Exactly,
shitty.
dude. And that's how I know, like, right now, like, there's absolutely no going back. I can never go back to that shit. Because what I would always do is I'd go out, chase a storm, and then make, 30, 40, 50 grand.
Yeah.
Which I'd be cool with. I'd have 20 racks in my bank account, feeling all right. And then just get used to fucking drinking every day and fucking blowing my money. And then all of a sudden, not plan for the future, be sitting there flat fucking broke, like, fuck. Here we go again.
Here we go again.
Now I know, man, like, I can never, ever fucking, no matter if I have 100, like, that's why I do really intend on having a lot of fucking money in my account here soon, man. Being able to, like, actually have, 100, 200,000 grand. And, like, to really, now I have the faith in myself, finally, to know, like, man.
The discipline, the mental discipline
Yeah. And invest it in any way that I can and do it smart. And actually start taking control of those ideas that I have to maybe invest like 10 or 20 grand. If I want to go back to Denver and start a small grow operation, now that it's completely legal there, and out in Cali too, man, like, it's a little bit more loose. So if I invested 10, maybe even 10 grand into a completely legal grow operation.
It has to be legal.
Yeah.
Or else the universe is gonna come crashing down.
Do it right with the taxes, do it right with the the grow, do security, everything. I can have a return of like 100 grand.
Yes.
200 grand. And like it's just those doors are going to start opening for me now because I'm making these decisions and contacting people like you and I. So it's just a matter of like that's what I really want to share with the world, and like whether it's egotistical or not, and that's the reason why I want to reach out is because, and that's why I want to start my own podcast and show people my journey of what I'm doing and the changes. Like I straight went from fucking nothing, dude, like nothing, and depressed with a fucking drunk when I was drunk and had a gun to my fucking head.
Yeah.
Even with my son, like that's the fucking level that I was at, man. The Illuminati got me good.
Hey, there's a band, Slipknot.
Yeah, I love
Slipknot.
I'm a metalhead, by the way, bro.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I love all music, but even him, he lead singer. He was 20. Corey Taylor.
Yeah.
Almost killed himself twice.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like he almost jumped off hotel building, and another time tried to OD on pills. But even someone, look at fucking Chester from Linkin Park.
Yeah, dude.
So you never know what someone's really going through.
Yeah,
But me and my, all I know is that what we're doing right now is good. It's gonna put
Yeah.
that out into the fucking energies of the world, and people can relate, and they're gonna be like, you know what? Nick feels how I feel. Demise
Yeah.
feels how I feel, and I'm glad I'm listening to this. You know, and then of
And other than
course,
that, be like, all offer a solution, man.
yeah,
On just straight 100% empathy with their situation and how they're feeling, what they're doing, and to be able to show that there's a way out. And I think to answer your question that you just asked too, in regards to whether everybody's feeling like this, I don't think everybody is. I think that you and I are special in regards to the fact that some people are, not necessarily calling us like those, but how do I relate this in a fucking analogy that makes sense? Looking back throughout history, there have always been those enlightened, severely, hardcore enlightened people like Jesus Christ and Buddha and even like the Dalai Lama.
yeah,
That I do think that the universe did bless. That's when I say the universe is conscious to that extent. I do believe that the higher power that does exist, that he has to be at least of course he is just this infinite field of fucking energy.
yes,
Of just
yes,
pure energy that is just, but within that energy is the creative forces and the knowledge and the mathematics that is already just instilled in it. So that kind of begs this massive fucking intelligence on a level that we can't even fucking fathom.
exactly.
It's there and it's conscious.
Does Albert Einstein fit into that bill as well?
Oh fuck yeah, dude.
Okay.
Nikola Tesla,
Yeah,
come
yeah.
on, dudes. You know what I mean?
All right, cool.
That are just naturally instilled. But now that we're entering this, this field of energy that the universe is going through, or the solar system, or the galaxy, or whatever it is, that I can get into the science later. That more and more people are starting to feel this. As we evolve,
Awakening.
Every being is going to be going through this on the planet. But then again, we're the most consciously evolved.
Yes.
So how are we going to evolve? We're going to evolve in means of our conscious energy. That's going to allow us to be not only more creative, but more in tune with our emotions, on all that level. And some people are going to catch that train faster than others, and that's why I think we do have people like you and I. We do have the Joe Rogans. We do have this wave of people that are excelling above, but it is a small majority of the population, and that's why the vast majority right now are still sheep. This is why we're stuck in this condition.
Yeah.
But they've also done studies. It's called the 100th monkey effect. Now, what that is I think they talked about on the Joe Rogan podcast. One of them, one of the 1,000. That dude has 1,000 podcasts now.
I know. I was like, I went back and listened to the first one.
Yeah.
And they're just chilling. They're just fucking just chilling. So
in some random room in the house.
Yeah.
This is crazy. But,
So what is it? The 100 monkey test?
The 100th monkey effect, and it's been tested in science. So what they did is scientists they taught a small group of monkeys how to wash fruit before they ate it. Now, the monkeys that would go out and they would teach the other monkeys around them how to wash the fruit because they just learned this new habit. So they started teaching the other monkeys how to do it. Now, whether the other monkeys knew what it was good for or not, it doesn't matter because they were just doing it. And it wasn't until that, and I don't know if this is complete speculation or if this is actual scientific fact. I haven't researched this 100%, but it's just funny showing how it nonetheless it's true. How once it got to the 100th monkey, once they taught the 100th monkey how to wash a fruit, then all of a sudden, involuntarily, every fucking monkey knew how to they just started washing fruit before eating it without even being taught that was a thing.
Wow.
So, and I think that kind of applies, and when we talk about the intertwined consciousness that we all have and that we all shared, that's where it really come into play. Is because if you can just say when I visualize the energy that goes between each and every one of us, we see as like Neo sees the Matrix kind of shit, just straight. If we're all energy, if enough people, and it makes sense that the universe would have its laws based upon this, especially the monkeys, for instance. If you can just imagine 100 monkeys all having their intentions and their ideas set on that, then all of a sudden, involuntarily, everybody else, it would just be like that huge energy that everybody would have. That's what I kind of foresee happening right now, and what's necessary for people like you and I to really start getting together and solidifying these ideas, and not just being random dots of energy on our own, nice little golden orbs, and we know, but we're not connecting the dots. Once we all start coming together and forming this, this something, this bigger, we're all little bacteria right now, and just making one bigger bacteria then all of a sudden, involuntarily, boom, the energy from us coming together and really realizing like what we need to do, it'll be involuntary. It'll be something that, whether people know it or not, whether they feel it or not, that the energy's going to overtake them, man. The 100th monkey effect is going to, is going to stand true, and that's what's going to happen. So
that was fucking mind blowing, but it makes sense because look at the fucking internet.
Yeah.
It fucking brought global connection at the fucking speed of fucking sound or light, whatever, I don't know. But it's just, we can talk to each other through, this 100 years ago, would never ever seem possible.
We're talking to each other in like literal time.
Yeah.
And you're fucking, 2,000 miles away. Like, what the fuck? It's crazy.
And us, the 100 monkey effect or whatever, like my son and your son, this to them is gonna be fucking like, oh, of course. I've been able to do this. I was able to FaceTime my cousin when I was 2 years old. But me and you back then, there wasn't no fucking Skype and shit, really.
No, not only that, I remembered when I was in elementary school, I was maybe like second grade, but I was flipping through one of those little booklets, like, training booklets, whatever the fuck you call them when you're learning your basics.
Yeah.
But it was like a picture of like Spacemen, like future men, and they were actually talking to each other on screens like they would in Star Trek.
Oh, yes. Yes.
At the time, that was fucking thought to be like that far in the future, impossible shit.
3,000. The year 3030 and shit.
And look, fucking 15 years later, we're able to do this shit. It's like watching. It's like the ball bouncing, man, of the huge gaps in the progression of humanity. How 150 years ago, but let's just start at flight. Like how we invented flight.
Yes.
And that took how long? And then 50 years later, we're already sending men to the fucking moon. We have jets that can go 2,000 miles an hour, kind of shit. Sending men to the moon. And it seems like the bounces in evolution become smaller and smaller and smaller to where the ball is like not even bouncing anymore. There's no more gaps between those major advances in evolution. They can happen almost spontaneously, and with that, like, it's almost like the manifestation is becoming more and more immediate. And I look around and like, because that's what the science is actually showing, like on a chart, the gap between gigantic scientific breakthroughs. And I look around like, that's what the science is. And I look around to see the actual evidence for myself. And it's so fucking apparent for me because of how fast, like, I had this fucking idea, fucking chased the idea, and, like, actually manifested it into reality by talking to you. And actually be able to share these ideas and share my experiences. And not only that, and grow. And it's for a reason. Like, it literally changes the course of the rest of my whole fucking life. Just like that, off one idea. So, I think it's important from that aspect. But once we really realize that, utilize that, that's our power. Maybe even use a little bit of ego. Maybe be a little bit fucking selfish.
Hey, about the ego thing, ego's always gonna be there. There's no avoiding it. So when everyone bashes the ego, it's like, hey, just life is a balance. Life, all it is a balance and act. Life, death, dark, night, ego, non-ego.
Demise. This phone's about to die. Can we hang up and call again real quick?
Yeah, definitely.
Right,
we'll end this one and then
we're getting right back to that because that's an awesome.
Hey, the next topic we gotta talk about God.
Oh, we'll talk about some God, bro. All right,
so we'll end this one right now and call me back.
Yeah.